which brings so much positivity, so much joy and happiness.
Yeah.
But I think overall, our school has the workers that are there to look after our Korean kids. So that's a positive.
So you said you're one of 6?
5.
5. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it is. We have 2 more coming on a Friday, and they do language and culture. We have an elder that's there on the Friday. She's helping with language. So that's good. And the kids love the language program. They just love it. So anything that we bring in, it's a positive for them.
Yes.
They learn. And then they love learning.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and you get some kids that don't understand that. So we help that way as well.
Yes. My understanding is that
We work in 2 ways.
because a lot of learning traditionally would be from elders and things. It must
And
be
you get
quite
the kids, we still have missions. So I come from out at Raceway Park, out at Janja, and you get kids that will walk in 2 worlds, have to work in 2 worlds, and sometimes teachers don't understand that.
Yes.
So they talk home language as well.
Yeah.
And the teacher goes, what are you talking about?
Yes.
And we get that at school with a few of our kids.
So part of your role would be also educating the teachers on how to respond to different things in their lives. Yeah.
Well, they don't understand their home language.
Yes.
Because that's different to their language and school language.
Yes.
So they've got 3 things, like a triangle.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't understand it, well, you know, you gotta stop and listen.
Yes.
And you go, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then just, speak to somebody that understands it.
Yes.
And then you have
And
a
then
good
they
relationship.
feel heard and
And have a good relationship.
are other curriculums designed specifically for Indigenous children, or are they using the standard curriculum and you just change or explain it a little bit more in the way that they would understand?
Yeah, most all classrooms should be should have things up to say this Indigenous or Korea or Aboriginal classroom, but you have displays and things so you make the child or families feel well. So we do that. Every classroom has that. And if that child or student is not understanding, that's when we start. So we make it more to them, so they're not understanding. If they're scared, because some kids just couldn't bother putting their hand up, they just breeze through school. So that's when we come in. And my leadership.
And so if you were sort of choosing even just something simple like a reader or something for them to read.
You would have a display. The books over there, the teacher will understand. And there's like a cue, so they know. Yeah, so the teacher will say, well, when we go to do this, how about you get the book and come and sit with me and we'll work through it. And there'll be other students as well. So that's the child is not on its own. Not having a shame job. But our kids love it. They don't own their own. And even if they are, it's like, well, I'm the teacher, I'll give all the attention and we can work through it. And that's how we work. So if they need any extra stuff, that's when we come in and sit and talk to them. They love a good yarn. And that's like, yes, I love a good yarn too.
That's right.
And it makes them feel comfortable. And they trust. That's a trust.
It's a trust thing. That's great. And would you say many of those children at the school would be seeing each other outside of school, or are they just friends at school?
Most of them do. They go to the culture group after school or on weekends. Most of them we're all cousins. We're all cousins, so they get to play sport together.
Thank you, Linda, for joining me for this interview.
Oh, good.
Appreciate your time. I just have a few questions for you.
For every child in the class, and it's a meeting held with particularly for the Indigenous Australian students and their families and it looks at their family tree, who's important in that child's life, what their interests are and learning goals, and then learning goals are set for each student. And we want to find out what the parents' hopes are for their child's learning at school. So that's sort of a main reason behind the meetings or the PLPs. We also have morning teas and after school barbecues, and they're held to invite the Indigenous students and their families, and also other families also, they can bring a friend too, so it's just not one inclusive sort of group. And this is to try and bridge that generational gap of education from what their parents may have experienced at school, like a lot of discrimination, the racial taunts that they would have experienced. And it's to help their families try and see that schools are safe and supportive learning environment, not only for their children but for them to be able to come to if they have concerns.
Did you find that some of the parents of the children have had considerable trauma related to education?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Yeah. And how do you find the attendance of the Indigenous children? Is that a little bit less than others? Or?
Quite often, yes. Yeah. Not so much at my current school, but yes, at one of my previous schools. Lot of different reasons why they're not coming to school.
And have you got any relationship with the local elders, or is that not particularly something the school does?
The school does. My previous school, not so much my current school. Just different environment and area, but my previous school, there was a really big link with the elders of the community.
So if you get the elders on board and supportive, would you find that would help the families attend and be part of it?
Like incorporating like NAIDOC events and like the elders coming in to educate and speak on experiences, and workshops are all examples of the different learning aspects implemented into school to benefit the students and educate others. We also have staff development days where all schools can come together, or it can be just our school, and quite often we have speakers come in just to enhance each other and understandings of programs for Indigenous students. And we also have like local groups like Gadigal Murring come in, and they do staff development days as well. And then in the actual classroom, well, it's sort of just acknowledging children learn differently. So trying to have activities that provide for hands-on, for the tactile learners, a lot of visual prompts around for more the visual learners, and it's also trying to actively engage the children so they're not sitting for long periods of time. So there's a lot of movement breaks, outdoor activities, a lot of art. I find art really good because it really allows children that struggle a little bit more with literacy and numeracy, they can really art is like how everyone sort of does it differently.
Yes,
so
they
and
can
then
express themselves in that way.
And then we use a lot of art around their writing and a lot of art and craft for maths activities. So we have I can't remember what they're called. We do have books, and some of the books were written by children from different communities, and then in the back of the book it'll say particular words that they might call a kangaroo or an echidna, but I can't remember what they were called. I think they might have been called the Big Mob books, to tell you the truth.
So just finally, would you say that over the last 20 years that you've taught, have you noticed that the Indigenous work that the schools are doing has really helped the families?
I think so. I think so. I think they're doing, the schools I've worked in, I think are doing a really good job of closing the gap.